All right, welcome to another deep dive. This time we're tackling Teamgo's visitor management system. So we're talking about the tech that keeps things, organized and secure, make sure the right folks are where they need to
Oh,
be.
yeah.
We've got a ton of stuff to dig into, video tutorials, all the support docs. Really going to get into it.
Yeah, we're going to be zeroing in on two big pieces of the Teamgo world, Teamgo Visitor Kiosk and Teamgo Pass.
Okay, cool. So at the heart of it, Teamgo is all about making visitor management efficient, smooth, secure. We're talking guests, deliveries, contractors, that whole thing. But here's the thing that's really caught my eye. We all picture those big iPad kiosks, right? For visitors to sign in. But the iPhone version of the Teamgo kiosk app, it's like a whole different ballgame. People are using it for parking garages, events, you name it.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see them kind of break out of that traditional visitor management mold.
Yeah, thinking outside the kiosk, as they say. So let's get into the setup for the kiosk app. Whether you're on iPhone or iPad, it's pretty straightforward to install. And the interface, it's really user-friendly, familiar settings like printer and camera configuration.
Right, right. The main difference is really about who's using it. The iPhone version is more for staff. Think receptionists, security, anyone doing check-ins or verifying folks on site.
Yeah.
The iPad, that's all about self-service, visitors checking themselves in.
Makes sense. So with the iPhone app, you've got these three core functions, right? Signing people in, signing them out. And then there's these on-site checks. So let's say you're running a construction site, and you need to make absolutely sure that only authorized people are in a certain area. You can use that on-site check feature to scan someone's QR code, like a digital badge. Bam! Instant verification right there.
Yeah, really elevates those security protocols without, adding a ton of complexity.
Exactly. And the best part, you're not chained to a physical kiosk to do any of this. And that brings us to our next stop, Teamgo Pass, the mobile app designed for, well, everyone else. Available on Android and iOS, keeps you connected to the system wherever you are.
Think of it like your all-access pass,
Hmm.
but with that extra layer of safety and emergency management built right in.
Nice. And this is particularly handy for remote workers or anyone who's always on the go. With Teamgo Pass, they can sign in or out remotely. Plus, it uses GPS data to track their location, useful for accurate work hour tracking, but also for the organization, so they know who's where, especially in those, emergency situations.
That's really key. That GPS data isn't just about tracking, it's about safety.
Yeah.
If there's an incident and they need to account for everyone, that real-time location data, that can be critical.
Absolutely. And let's not forget convenience. If you're within 100 meters of a sign-in point, you can actually skip the whole kiosk line. Just sign in with a QR code through Teamgo Pass. Imagine that. At a big office or an event, just how much smoother that makes things.
Yeah. And that QR code sign-in, it really speaks to that bigger idea, right?
Yeah.
TeamBigo, it's all about upping security while still making the whole experience seamless for everyone.
For sure. But of course, sometimes security goes beyond just signing in and out. That's where those emergency features in Teamgo Pass come in. Imagine there's a fire, some kind of crisis. Authorized users, they can activate an emergency notification right from the app. Evacuation maps, the whole 9 yards. And they can instantly see who's on site, who's off site, make sure everybody's accounted for.
The impact of features like that in a big organization, a school, or even a major event,
Yeah.
it's huge. Having those communication tools, that real-time personnel tracking during an emergency, it can be a total game changer.
For sure. And Teamgo Pass doesn't just react to emergencies, it helps with planning and preparation too. Think pre-registration. Say you're organizing a conference. You can use the app to create, modify, view all those pre-registration events, all on the go.
And pre-registration, it's about more than just like streamlining the arrival process. It can be a safety thing too. Organizers can get crucial info in advance, like allergies, accessibility needs, stuff like that. It's like having a heads up to make sure everyone's needs are met and potential risks are minimized.
Yeah, it's like they've thought of everything. And that's not even all. You can view your sign-in records, get push notifications, update your profile, all right there on your phone.
It's really remarkable how much they've packed into these mobile apps.
So we've covered the basics of the Teamgo Visitor Kiosk app with its different versions for staff and visitors. And we've touched on those key features of Teamgo Pass. Now, let's maybe zoom out a bit and look at the bigger picture. What makes these tools so impactful, and how do they reflect the changing landscape of security and technology?
It's interesting, right? They're not just standalone tools, they're part of this larger shift in how organizations think about security and efficiency.
Totally. It's not just about replacing that old paper sign-in sheet. It's about integrating tech to create a smarter, safer, more streamlined experience for everyone.
Yeah, and one thing that really stands out to me is that emphasis on real-time data, visibility. Visitor management used to be all about logging info after the fact. But with stuff like on-site checks and GPS tracking, organizations have this live view of what's happening. They can be so much more proactive.
It's like having a real-time dashboard for your whole site.
Mhm.
Instead of digging through logs after something happens, you can address those potential issues before they even escalate.
And that shift toward proactive security, that's critical these days. Think about schools, for example. The ability to instantly verify who's authorized to be on campus
Yeah.
or to quickly account for students and staff during an evacuation, those are game changers.
I was reading about a school that used a similar system during a lockdown. They were able to account for every student and staff member so fast. Huge relief for parents and authorities. Really shows you how tech can make a real difference in those critical situations.
Powerful example. And it's not just about emergencies either. Real-time data can inform everyday decisions. Say you're managing a big office building. Knowing who's on site at any given time, it can help you optimize everything, security staffing, meeting room availability, you name it.
Right, right. It's about efficiency, taking informed action, making the most of your resources. So it's not just a digital logbook. It's like this tool that empowers organizations to make smarter choices.
Exactly. And that adaptability, it's key. We've been talking offices, schools, but imagine the applications for big events like concerts, festivals. Teamgo system could manage staff access, track vendors, even monitor crowd density in different areas.
Wow, I hadn't even thought of that. Amazing how one system can be applied to so many different scenarios.
It speaks to that flexibility, that modular design of Teamgo. It's not one size fits all. It's a platform that can be customized, expanded to meet whatever needs you've got.
So for our listener, the big takeaway here, visitor management has evolved way beyond just signing people in and out. It's about using tech to enhance security, boost efficiency, and ultimately create a better experience for everyone.
Absolutely. Teamgo is a perfect example of how mobile technology is, like changing how we interact with the physical world. It's not just communication and entertainment anymore.
Right.
It's about managing access, ensuring safety, optimizing operations.
Yeah, it's like our phones are becoming these essential tools for navigating daily life, and Teamgo's tapping into that in a really innovative way.
Precisely. And as this trend keeps going, I think we'll see even more creative and impactful applications for visitor management systems like Teamgo. But before we wrap up, I want to leave our listener with a thought-provoking question.
All right, hit me with it.
So we've talked about workplaces, schools, events. But how could a system like Teamgo be adapted beyond these settings? Could it be used to, say, manage access to shared community resources?
Ooh, I like where you're going with this.
Think about public libraries, community centers, even parks and rec facilities. Could Teamgo be the key to creating safer, more efficient, more accessible public spaces?
That's really intriguing. It makes you realize how this tech has the potential to impact our lives in ways we don't even think about at first.
Exactly. Imagine a community center where seniors can easily sign in for classes using an app they're already familiar with. Yeah. Or a park where visitors can use their phones to reserve picnic areas. Or access real-time info about events and amenities.
Or even just from a safety standpoint. A system like this could help manage access to sensitive areas within a park or give visitors a way to quickly report any issues they come across.
Exactly. And it's not just about practicality. Using tech like this could foster a greater sense of community, a shared responsibility for these public spaces.
Right, it's like using technology to actually strengthen the social fabric of our communities. That's a powerful concept.
It really speaks to the versatility of Teamgo's platform, that it can spark these kinds of conversations, inspire us to think about new possibilities.
Well, I know I'm walking away from this deep dive with a whole new perspective on visitor management. It's clearly so much more than just signing in and out.
We've gone from the nuts and bolts of Teamgo's features to these wider implications for organizations and even communities. It's amazing how a deep dive into something seemingly specific can open up so many new avenues of thought.
That's what makes these deep dives so rewarding. It's about taking a closer look at something and discovering all these unexpected connections and possibilities.
So, to our listener, we encourage you to keep exploring these ideas. How could a system like Teamgo be used to improve your workplace, your community, even your daily life? Keep asking questions, keep diving deep, and most importantly, stay curious.
Until next time.
Yeah, it's fascinating how these apps aren't just, standalone tools. They're part of this bigger shift in how organizations are approaching security and efficiency these days.
For sure, for sure. It's not just about like ditching the old paper sign-in sheet anymore. It's about integrating tech to make things smarter, safer, more streamlined for everyone involved.
Yeah. And one thing that really strikes me is Teamgo's focus on real-time data. That visibility, visitor management, it used to be all about logging info after the fact. But now with things like on-site checks and GPS tracking, organizations get this live view. They can be so much more proactive.
It's like having a real-time dashboard for your whole site. Instead of having to go back and dig through logs after something happens, you
Exactly.
can address potential issues before they even become a
And
problem.
that shift towards proactive security, that's huge in today's world. Think about schools, for instance, being able to instantly verify who's authorized to be on campus, or quickly account for students and staff during an evacuation. Those are game changers.
It's funny you mentioned schools. I was just reading about a school that used a similar system during the lockdown, and they were able to account for all the students and staff so quickly. Just huge peace of mind for parents, authorities, everyone. It really shows you the difference tech can make in those, critical situations.
Absolutely. Powerful example. And it goes beyond just emergency situations, too. Real-time data. It can inform everyday decisions. Imagine you're managing a big office building. Knowing who's on site at any given moment helps you optimize everything from security staffing to meeting room availability.
Right, right. It's about efficiency, making informed decisions, really getting the most out of your
Yeah.
resources. So it's not just a digital logbook anymore. It's a tool that empowers organizations to be smarter.
For sure. And that adaptability is really key. We've talked about offices, schools, but think about large-scale events, concerts, festivals. Teamgo could handle staff access, track vendors, even monitor crowd density in different areas.
Wow, that's something I hadn't even considered. It's really impressive how one system can be applied to so many different things.
Right. It speaks to that flexibility, that modular design. It's not a one-size-fits-all solution. It's a platform. It can be customized, expanded to meet very specific needs.
So if we're talking key takeaways for our listener, I think it's clear that visitor management has come a long way. It's not just about signing people in and out anymore. It's about leveraging technology to enhance security, improve efficiency, and ultimately create a better experience for everyone involved.
Couldn't agree more. Teamgo is a great example of how mobile technology is changing how we interact with the physical world. It's not just about communication or entertainment. It's about managing access, ensuring safety, optimizing operations.
Yeah, it's like our phones are becoming these almost essential tools for navigating everyday life. And Teamgo's really tapping into that in an innovative way.
Precisely.
Mm.
And as this trend continues, I think we're just going to see more and more creative, impactful applications for visitor management systems like this. But before we move on, I do want to leave our listener with something to think about. So we've talked about workplaces, schools, all those typical settings. But what about adapting a system like Teamgo for, say, shared community resources?
Oh, yeah, I'm interested.
Like, think about public libraries, community centers, even parks and rec facilities. Could Teamgo be a way to make those spaces safer, more efficient, more accessible even?
It's a really cool idea when you think about it. Makes you realize this kind of tech can have a much bigger impact than we might initially assume.
Right. Imagine a community center where seniors can just easily sign in for classes using an app they already know, or a park where you can reserve a picnic area on your phone, or get up-to-the-minute info about events and stuff.
Yeah, or even on the safety side, it could help manage access to, certain areas within a park, or give visitors an easy way to report any problems they run into.
Exactly. And it's not just about the practical stuff either. Using tech like this, it could actually build a stronger sense of community, like a shared responsibility for these public spaces.
Yeah, it's like almost using technology to strengthen those social connections. It's a powerful concept.
It really shows how versatile Teamgo's Go platform is, that it can spark these kinds of conversations, get us thinking about new possibilities.
Well, I definitely have a whole new perspective on visitor management after this deep dive. It goes so much deeper than just signing in and out.
Definitely. We've gone from those basic features of Teamgo to talking about the implications for whole organizations, even entire communities. It's amazing how a deep dive into something seemingly niche can open up so many different avenues of thought.
That's what I love about these deep dives. You take a closer look at something and you discover all these unexpected connections, possibilities.
Exactly. So, to our listener, we encourage you to keep exploring. How could a system like Teamgo make a difference in your workplace, your community, even your own life? Keep asking those questions. Keep diving deep. And most importantly, Stay curious.
Until next time.